Hi, welcome to Just Painting for Fun. Here's the materials you'll need for today's project. Working on 12 by 9 stretched canvas this time. Canvas is pre-primed, but I'm adding a combination of cadmium red, burnt sienna, and some acrylic gesso mixed up to create an underpainting, toned ground. After it's dried, we can begin to paint. I've marked about a third up from the bottom where I want the horizon to be. I'm using alizarin crimson and burnt sienna and mixture of satin glazing medium so it'll help it to spread around. Just painting the tree locations, the horizon line, the major compositional elements, putting them in their place. Then I'm spotting some color around the canvas. Blow dry that layer. Clean the brush and use some phthalo blue satin glazing medium to spread those colors around again where I want them in the painting. Blow dry that layer. Most of the time between the layers I will blow dry the canvas, but not always. This is Hooker's Green, a little satin glazing medium to help it spread. Again, I'm just placing it wherever I want on the canvas. All this is with 1-inch angle brush. Now I've added the yellow oxide, and you may also have that called yellow ochre. I didn't dry the canvas before adding the yellow. I dried it afterwards so I can put the cadmium red. No satin glazing medium with that this time, just the paint. Adding cadmium yellow again. No satin glazing medium, just the paint. Letting the yellow mix with the red. I didn't blow dry in between. Getting some orange color in there, here and there. I'm going over the trees. I'm hitting the highlight spots. If you look at the reference photo, you'll see that there's a lot of light hitting those trees. So highlighting them with some gold there, some of that cadmium yellow. This is ultramarine blue. Just placing that where I want it in paint. Okay, now I blow dry everything at this point. The reds and yellows could take a little longer to dry. Okay, we're going to do the Botizar system. That's where you cover the entire canvas with zinc white paint and a mixture of satin glazing medium to help it spread. Try and let some of the color underneath still show through. Zinc white is about 1/10 the opacity of titanium white. You can use titanium white to get a similar effect if you mix it with a lot of medium or water. Here's how it looks after the Botizar system. Notice you can still see the color showing through it a little bit. And there's a ghosting of the trees. So on we go. Again, with a 1-inch angle brush, I mix some zinc white with both blues. It's getting a little more opaque, but the zinc white still lets a little bit of the color underneath show through because it is a more transparent white. Here I've mixed some zinc white with yellow oxide. Actually, I'm letting it mix on the canvas. I just place them together on the palette and pull them together in the canvas. Add some blue to the yellow mix and get cadmium yellow, and I get that green. Add a little more blue, get the darker green. A little more blue still. Some ultramarine blue in there too. Now I've mixed in, or taken alizarin crimson and burnt sienna and some of the satin glazing medium, and I'm redrawing the trees from the ghost of the outlines that I can see underneath. Try not to cover the lines completely that I see underneath because I want that color showing through along with the top colors that I'm adding now. Here's what we have so far. See the colors in the sky? You can still see those. Okay, 1-inch angle brush. This is what I'm going to call the glazing phase. I'm taking yellow oxide, some satin glazing medium, and I'm putting it largely over the white areas, but wherever I want. Adding it over the green heightens that light through there. Blow dry that fade or that color so I can go put some alizarin crimson over it. Also glazing. This glazing is a thin coat of the color with a lot of satin glazing medium. So you can just see the color there on the canvas. Blow dry that color. I'm taking a 1/2-inch flat brush to get finer lines with the trees. Adding some of that dark foliage, the shadow areas of the foliage and shadows in the grass there. Okay, now right there I've gone with the titanium white. See, it's much more opaque. I'm still letting some of the background colors show through. I'm using a broken brush stroke technique. It's one of the techniques the impressionists would use. That allows the colors underneath to show through. It's you can also use what they call scumbling, which is to lightly drag the opaque color over the surface. I've mixed up titanium white, yellow oxide, burnt sienna, and cadmium red to get that orange color that I'm adding now for the highlight colors. If you'll notice, those trees look very orange in their reference photo. Here I've taken the back of the knife, or back uh, of the brush and a palette knife to scrape away little bits of the paint area to make it look like vines. Still repainting those trees with the orangey color there. You can use a smaller brush. I use the 1/2 inch flat. I use the edge of it. Adding some darker colors into the trees now. That's alizarin crimson there and some burnt sienna. Notice that I don't just work the one side. I'll occasionally move over to the other side. I'm constantly balancing the painting. See a spot down at the bottom needs it. I see a spot up the top needs it. That's one way to do it. A lot of people just work from one side to the other or from the top to the bottom or start on one thing and paint that and then move on to another. I like to work the whole canvas. It's just my way. Again, this is alizarin crimson and satin glazing medium. Now, I'm not going to paint every branch that I see. I could spend more time, much more time than I have in these videos. I'm just showing you how I do it so you can do it similarly. Right now I've taken phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is a good glazing color too, and I'm adding some branches in the phthalo blue, and I'm going alongside of the other colors. Adding the phthalo blue next to the reds make the reds pop out. Make it really uh, just adds that depth to the color by contrast. I'm going back and forth between the alizarin crimson, the blue, and the yellow white highlight mixture. Shaping the trees with the highlight mixture. Here I'm putting in the highlights there you see in the grass. That's a mixture of the cadmium yellow, the phthalo blue, a little bit of titanium white, and actually a little bit of cadmium reds in there, I believe. Not much of the red. Some darker green, probably the hooker's green, maybe a little blue added to it. Okay, that's looking about done. Here's what it looks like afterwards. Some close-ups. It's the reference photo once more. Like I said, you can always add more to the branches and such. Thanks for watching.